Not so long ago, EA has made Battlefield 1 unplayable on Steam Deck as well as Linux desktops by bringing kernel-level anti-cheat engine to the game. That's a terrible news for everyone. First of all, the case of Battlefield 1 sort of solidifies the previously known fact that Linux support can be revoked at any given time. The game was playable on Linux since I don't know when exactly, years before Steam Deck even was announced. I've been using Battlefield 1 footage in every single gaming video on this channel, including the original Steam Deck LCD review, to support the claim that there are lots of great AAA titles available on Linux. And lots of Linux gamers bought this title because it was listed as playable on Steam and Proton database. And now, with a single anti-cheat update, this countless years of perfect gaming experience has come to an end, thanks to EA. Second of all, Battlefield 1 was an extremely fun game to play. It is an arcade first-person shooter set in the front lines of World War I, with great gunplay and stunning visuals. It is not an accurate historical representation of the Great War, but nevertheless it looks great, feels great, and sometimes can create extremely intense moments. But what's more importantly, it's one of the last AAA multiplayer games that isn't filled with dark patterns, like pay-to-win microtransactions. There is no unnecessary grinding and no pay-to-skip elements. Sure, you can find premium currency and loot boxes in the game, but it's nothing in comparison with modern AAA shooters. Battlefield 1 was a great alternative to them, and by bringing kernel-level anti-cheat engine to the game, EA took that alternative away from Linux gamers. Of course, BF1 is not the first game that lost its Linux support due to anti-cheat update. Previously, EA pulled the same trick with Battlefield 5, Plants vs Zombies, and other titles. Now, if you bought the game on Steam, you can still request a refund, no matter how much time you've spent playing it. It seems that Valve continues to provide the great care to all Linux gamers. But the problem is a bit bigger than just EA being EA. Kernel-level anti-cheat engines possess a greater threat. We've seen what Valorant can do to your PC, we've seen that de novo anti-cheat caused performance issues, we've seen how many computers have been taken down by the CrowdStrike incident, which isn't an anti-cheat but still a proprietary kernel-level software. But I haven't seen yet a single multiplayer game protected by the BattlEye or Easy Anti-Cheat or even Vanguard without cheaters. My point is, despite that many modern online shooters require you to install kernel-level anti-cheat system, there are still plenty of cheaters online. But you, as a user, have to take a greater risk and therefore a greater responsibility by installing anti-cheat that requires privileged access to your operating system. Previously, Battlefield 1 was relying on Firefight, a server-side anti-cheat system which basically was evaluating players' performance by comparing different stats, like for example accuracy or kill-to-death ratio, to a set of statistical markers. The biggest problem with this method is that it allows you to detect cheaters only if they behave recklessly. They can still have an advantage such as moderate aim assist or a wall hack and remain invisible to the whole system. It is true that Firefight wasn't perfect, there were plenty of cheaters online in Battlefield 1, but this way of protection didn't require you to install some proprietary software with a very privileged access to all parts of the operating system. So the real question is, which option is better? To have a tolerable amount of cheaters online, or to install a kernel-level app that will eventually wreck your computer and still have a tolerable amount of cheaters online? Well, I believe that the answer is pretty obvious. Now, before we go any further, allow me to ask for your support. As a one-man team, I'm responsible for everything you see on this channel, from cinematography and script writing to editing and gameplay recording. If you want to support me, please consider joining my Telegram channel. Telegram is a great place to build a community. It's free and unlike many other messengers, it doesn't require you to have an account in order to view my channel. You can access it via web browser, pretty much like YouTube, though you might want to make an account to ask me anything in the comments or to send me a donation. I keep my videos completely free from paid promotions, product placements and sponsorships. I respect my audience and I need your help to keep it this way. Now let's get back to the script. While I was making this video, 2 days ago Rockstar broke Linux compatibility for GTA 5 by adding BattlEye anti-cheat. There is still an option to disable BattlEye for story mode, but GTA Online is no longer working on Linux. In my previous video about anti-cheat engines, I've insisted that we, Linux gamers, have to become conscious consumers. We should care about what games we buy, what studios we support to create market incentives for big publishers. But in this case, ironically, thousands of Linux gamers bought these titles exactly because they were available on Linux. They did the right thing, they were conscious in their actions, but still somehow ended up with broken titles on Steam. The situation is sad enough, and since we have no options to put pressure on publishers, there is no reason for them to not try to pull the same trick again. So I think we'll see even more such cases in the future, but we shouldn't give up. I still believe that our goal is to create market incentives in order to help publishers recognize Linux as a gaming platform. Even in case of EA, the same EA that revoked Linux support for multiple titles, the same EA that never gave an F about players, remember that this exact EA promised to make Dragon Age Veilguard available and verified on Steam Deck. I have a hope that one day, as Linux market share continue to go up, we'll become big enough to get publishers' interest in our platform. Until then, the best thing I can do is to uninstall Battlefield 1 from my computer. This was Reluctant Anarchist, and I have nothing left to say.